FPL Gw23 press conference live stream with me, Holly Shand. In today's video, I'm going to be talking you through my final team reveal. I'll be covering all the press conferences happening in the next hour, of which there are 12 scheduled, so it's certainly going to be a busy one. I'll be letting you know any injury concerns that come up, so if there's a particular player that you're waiting on injury news for, do drop that in the chat when you go over and say hello. I'm going to be answering all of your questions, going to have a bit of captaincy chat as well. Triple captain, is that going to be something that's in play for you this week? I want to find out. So lots to discuss today. Hopefully this will be a fun one. So thanks once again for joining me. And don't forget to come and say hello. Interesting week for me because I've got 2 free transfers, bit of money in the bank as well. If you caught my video earlier this week of the team selection, I've not changed my mind on that, but I am just waiting for all of those press conferences to take place before making my moves. I may do it at the end of this stream. I am always a little bit reluctant to do it on stream because I can just imagine I'll press the wrong button and sell the wrong player. So this team selection is actually looking a little bit weird at the moment. I'm going to be on Haaland captain. My plan is to bring in Odegaard for Martinelli with 1 free transfer and bring in Mahrez for Almiron with my 2nd free transfer. And then my bench is all in the right order, but that's where I'm at with it at the moment, but I obviously haven't made those moves yet. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll jump over to the transfer tab so you can see those moves. To be fair, I haven't actually checked that I've not been priced out, but I think I had like 0.4 off. Yeah, we're okay. So that's going to be my moves for this week. Odegaard in for Martinelli, Mahrez in for Almiron, 2 free transfers used. And then beyond that, that takes me down to 5 players that blank in 25, 3 that double in 25. And I'm going to have another 2 free transfers before then. So could be a hit or 2 in the offing, but let's see what happens with that. So if I jump over to the chat, I can see there's quite a few of you in already, 43 of you watching right now, which is great to see. If you are here, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, just helps to get this content out to as many people as possible and allows me to produce the content for you guys as well. So it's good to see so many of you joining me today. In terms of hello so far, want to say hello to Wayne is in already, as is Mike. Zamahashra is in, Iron Man is in, Sia and Mbasso and Nyan. So thank you so much, guys, for joining. If you hadn't said hello already, it's not too late. And we need to use this chat to drop your injury concerns in because we are waiting for all of those press conferences. There was one coming up at there's a couple coming up at 1 o'clock, Crystal Palace and Wolves, and then at 1:30 we've got quite a few, including Arsenal, Brentford, Brighton, Chelsea, Everton, Man City as well, West Ham. Apparently Aston Villa's press conference is at 2:15, so that's another one to keep an eye on as well as we look to get prepared with our transfers. That should be the last one of the game week. I can see that Saya is in as well, as is John, Aaron, Light Rays and FPL Veteran. Light Rays is in all the way from Sydney. It's always nice to know where you guys are listening from. It always surprises me what a variety we get in. I don't know if there's anyone watching from Grimsby, but you know, FA Cup 5th round, it's on. Could this be the year that Grimsby have a bit of magic in the FA Cup? It's happening for them so far. As I said, I've got the tweet deck open. So this is just going to follow all of the news from the press conferences. I'm not going to look at it too much until 1:30 because I think that's where we're going to want the main amount of information. We've already got comments coming in from Patrick Vieira, as I mentioned. James MacArthur is available for Everton tomorrow. Pep Guardiola at 1:30 is probably going to be a big one, always is. So looking forward to it. So let's have a look what questions we've got already. Wayne has asked probably one of the biggest questions on everyone's lips, which is my thoughts on Bruno Fernandes to Kevin De Bruyne for a -4. Now, I think if it's a free transfer, it's absolutely fine. A hit is a little bit more difficult. Now, before we saw Man United play their second double game week 22 fixture, I was dead against doing Bruno to De Bruyne. To be fair, I was one of the managers that went from De Bruyne to Bruno Fernandes for the double game week. And, you know, the fact that he was on penalties, scored a penalty and collected all 3 bonus points against Crystal Palace, even though Marcus Rashford won the penalty and had 2 goal involvements, made me think Bruno is a great long-term hold. But then that fixture against Leeds surprised me, and the key issue for Manchester United in that fixture was the the suspension of Casemiro, which really depleted Manchester United. It makes them worse defensively for sure. Also makes them not as prolific attacking wise, because I think it just dents their confidence. So what we've got to weigh up with Bruno Fernandes now is that their next 2 games, while they look very good on paper, Casemiro's still suspended for those 2 games. So it's 2 games without Casemiro, then a blank. But then 26 onwards, you're probably going to want Bruno Fernandes 26, 27. But then 28 is pretty much likely to be a blank as well. So that makes it difficult to navigate. Obviously, from game week 29 onwards, you're going to want Bruno Fernandes back for the rest of the season, especially because he's got a couple of doubles to fit into the schedule as well. But I do think probably now, given the Casemiro situation, it is okay to sell to get to De Bruyne. But if, as an alternative, you could sell another midfielder that's maybe not in form at the moment to get Mahrez, that is another strategy. We're not going to have value tied up in Bruno Fernandes, so that's something to consider as well. It is a really tough decision though this week, so I feel for anyone that's struggling with that one. A very good question, Wayne, so thank you for leaving that one. Top and Time says, could you do a wildcard selection, please? Wildcard already, it's bold. Let me show you the My Team tool on Fantasy Football Hub, because as part of this, if you remember, and if you hit the link in the description to this video, you can subscribe to be a member and get 30% off your annual membership. They've got the best wildcard team. Now, we need to be mindful in here that the algorithm hasn't allowed for the fact that we're going to get a blank in game week 28. And if I navigate to Ben Krellin's schedule for blank game week 28, so this is for the clashes with the FA Cup quarterfinals. We will have all of this basically confirmed after game week 25, I think, but there's going to be 3 fixtures that are pretty much definitely off, the 4th fixture that's probably going to be off, and then one of these 2 fixtures. So because those blanks are not confirmed in the schedule, the algorithm doesn't know about them yet to factor it in. But still, in terms of a wildcard team, it'll give you lots to think about here. So the Arsenal triple up is Ramsdale, Odegaard and Nketiah. And the Man City triple up is Haaland, Mahrez and Ake. The algorithm is also enjoying the look of the Liverpool assets, Salah and Darwin. Remember, Jota is now back in training. They've got a double in game week 25, Merseyside derby this weekend. And they could, if Leeds beat Fulham in the FA Cup 5th round, then they could have a fixture in game week 28 as well. So you're kind of gambling on their progression to game week 28, but they're in there as well. One thing this doesn't have is Trippier, though, who obviously I would pick in there over Robertson. So you need to give it a little bit more thought than this, but it should give you a little bit of a rough guide. Rashford's in there as well, so that's something to consider. So there's 6 double game weekers in this squad for double game week 25. 6 in there for double game week 23. But if you haven't pressed the button yet, I would recommend leaving the wild card until later in the season, because we've got a lot to navigate still in the schedule. Ben posted this last night. We've got double game week 23. We've got 25, which is a blank and a double. 28 is going to be a big blank. 29 is a big double. Then we've got another smaller blank in 32, followed by big doubles in 34 and 37. Fixtures obviously unconfirmed at the moment, and we could have a couple of other little doubles in there as well. So that wild card and the other chips, the free hit, the bench boost, are going to be very valuable for navigating some of these weeks, and that's something that we need to bear in mind as well on there. Next question then. I've lost my questions now. I've got too many tabs open. Feel like I need another screen so that I don't get lost. It's from Nayan. I see you have a Wolves fan page. Not a Manchester United fan anymore, coming from a United fan. Yeah, I am a United fan. However, I do some content for Wolves, so I said I'd join their fan league this season, because if Wolves stay in the Premier League, then that gives me more FPL work to do. So that's where I'm at with that. So hopefully that's clear. I'm hoping to go to Old Trafford for the Leicester game next weekend. Fingers crossed that comes off, and then obviously I'll have 3 United players there for that game week, even though they're lacking Casemiro, obviously. FPL veterans showing a black flag. What flag is that? I can't tell from here. Robson is in. Oh, hi from Scotland, I see. You can't put a black flag for Scotland. Top and Tine is in NYC. Very nice. Sniffental is in. Nayan says, who is better, Tarkowski or Kilman? 4.2 and 4.3 million respectively. I guess we need to factor in the fixtures on here, don't we? Obviously, they both got the double. There's 100 of you in, guys, by the way. So while I'm looking at this, do hit that like button. So between 23 and 28, let's just check. So Everton have a fixture in 28. Wolves, we don't know at the moment. So that, if you're planning on getting through blank game week 28 using just free transfers, I do think that probably Tarkowski has the edge there. We know that Sean Dyche knows how to play with him. We know his style of play, a lot of focus on set pieces. We know how good Tarkowski is aerially. Kilman's looks very good for Wolves, but if we have a look between game week 23 and game week 28, rating the defences, they're about bang on. If we filter by clean sheets, Wolves do have the edge over Everton in terms of clean sheet potential. But if we look at points predictions over the same period, hang on, this is going to go a bit funny because I've not got my window open at the right size. So if we're looking at defenders up to 4.5 million. So Tarkowski comes in at 20.8 points, Kilman at 19.8. So there's 1 point in it, but I think because we know that Everton have a fixture in blank game week 28, I think he's probably just got to have the edge. If you're deciding between those two players, I think that's the way that you need to go. FPL Veteran says, I'm captaining KDB. Thoughts, anyone? You are a braver man than me, that's all I can say. If we just have a look at the points predictions for this week, Haaland is top, 13.1 is his points projection. Nketiah is second with 10.2. De Bruyne third with 10 points. Also level with Mahrez and Odegaard, by the way, in there as well. So, interesting. I mean, it depends how much you're chasing, Veteran. I mean, I'm just outside the top 500k now. I've actually halved my rank in the last 2 weeks. But, you know, there's ways that you can gain rank without taking massive punts on captaincy at the moment when you've got the best player in FPL this season, or perhaps even the best player we've ever had in FPL with a double game week. But if you want to go for it, go for it. Let me just have a look at if there's anything going on in the press conferences so far. Can't see anything coming up. Particularly, we just had that news about James MacArthur. But yeah, they're all coming at 1:30. So we've got another 15 minutes of going through these questions before we start prioritising the press conference news. Dennis is in Uganda, as is Nelson. John is joining from Perth, Western Australia. Aaron is in India. Bollard is in from Hull. probably nearest to me at the moment. Thanks for joining. Chris is in as well. Arunda has said, shall I do Odegaard to Martinelli this week for a 4-point hit and change from Shaw, Akanji to Tarkowski? I'd keep Akanji because he's got the double game week. Odegaard to Martinelli is absolutely fine for a free transfer, probably for a hit as well, because, you know, because Arsenal have 2 double game weeks in the next 3 game weeks, having the best 3 players you can from there is really important, and it's just minutes with Martinelli. Like, if we compare, Odegaard's projected to be on 10 points just this game week, Saka 9.5 points, Martinelli down at 8.3. If we filter that out, because basically we're going to own these Arsenal assets long term because they've got that fixture in blank game week 28 as well. If we look at Arsenal assets over the next 5 game weeks, the top 3 are Nketiah, Odegaard and Saka. Odegaard's on 46.6 points. Martinelli's projected to be at 38.2 points. So that's roughly 8.5 points behind. So if you're going to spend 4 points but get 8 points more over the next 5 game weeks, then that's going to pay off massively. If you look over the previous 5 game weeks or 6 game weeks, this is where I'm going to realise that I can't do maths anymore. Let me get this to do the hard work for me. So over the last 6 game weeks, Odegaard scored 42 points, Martinelli 26. So that just shows you that's 16 points there in 5 game weeks from 5 fixtures. You know, it could easily be a bigger difference over the next one with 7 fixtures. You could be looking at a 20-point difference between those 2 players based on current form. The algorithm probably hasn't learnt yet about Martinelli being a bit more of a minutes risk either, because this is all with the assumption that they're going to play 180 minutes. It has factored it in, look, yeah. But if you was, I think you can edit these. Maybe you can't. I'm not sure how to do that at the moment. But yeah, that just gives you a little bit of a comparison. Hopefully you can kind of see from there what we need to be factoring in for those ones. Next question. I've lost the chat again. Sorry guys. I will find it. I pressed the wrong button on my screen. There we go. It's hiding. Pop it there. Look, I can't lose it again then. Next question was in from Gordon. Bruno was going to have even about 3 returns and Garnacho wasn't sharp on his finishing, so I feel Bruno's still fine for this fixture. Yeah, haven't looked. I don't really know what to expect from United and how they decide to line up in the next game, because there was some odd decisions. I think probably Sancho being back is going to be a good thing in terms of United assets now, because Garnacho didn't look the best in that game in terms of what he was delivering. If I just have a look on the match centre, be at the bottom there, won't it? So Bruno Fernandes, obviously we saw Garnacho come off, but in terms of the Opta stats, I think we'd find if we looked just at so Garnacho had 3 shots, an XG of 0.45, 1 big chance that he failed to convert, and across the 2 games, Bruno Fernandes had 7 key passes with an XG of 0.33. His expected goal involvement was 1.1. Obviously, the penalty counts as 0.8. So he was maybe a little bit unlucky, but maybe not as stark as you mentioned there, Gordon. Nelson says that start Mitrovic or Fernandes this game week. Plus, are you looking to bring Salah into your team in time for the double? Yeah, so I posted... Let me find it. I posted a short earlier this week on the channel I might just get the link for it for you guys so that you've got it. Just on which players to start and which to bench. So I did a little bit of a ranking. And yeah, Bruno Fernandes was definitely higher than Mitrovic. So if you haven't checked that one out yet, and if you've got time before the deadline, please do, because I think a lot of the Start X, Start Y questions today will be covered in that one. Am I looking to bring Salah into my team in time for the double? At the moment, I've got no intention of bringing Liverpool assets in for 25. I think even in terms of captaincy, because we've got the Arsenal assets as well, it's not a massive deal. I mean, the algorithm does favour the Liverpool assets, but we've seen Jota back in training in contention for the Merseyside derby. So if we see a big improvement from Liverpool in the next 2 game weeks, then I may change my mind. But at the moment, I'm not. Gazman is in. Almiron and Andreas to Saka and Mahrez for a hit. Pep is going to hurt me this week. You see, I'm not sure if that's worth the hit. I'd do Almiron to Saka all day long. The Andreas to Mahrez thing, who does that mean you're going to bench, Gazman? Because if you're taking a hit and you're going to have to bench like someone really good to get Mahrez in, I don't think it's worth it. Unless you really want to own Mahrez long term. Andrew says, do you think it's worth a -4 to do Odegaard for Martinelli? Yes. Dennis says, more thoughts on Matoma. Matoma is like a hold him if you've got him, but don't buy because of the blanks. I guess if we look over the next... I mean, this is going to be skewed a bit now because you've got those double game weeks in there, but if we look at midfielders and their scoring potential over the next few game weeks, Matoma's nowhere because, you know, he's competing with players that have got a lot more fixtures. It's projected to be on 19.8 points, 4.7 for Palace, 5.5 for Fulham, 4.7 for West Ham, 5 for Leeds. But there's a chance, and if I pop over to Ben Crellin's latest calendar, there is a chance that Brighton could double in, is it 26? Here we go, look. So they could double in game week 26 or game week 27 with fixtures against Crystal Palace and Bournemouth. They've got a lot of fixtures that need to be rescheduled. So if you want to bet on that happening, it is okay to bring Matoma in, but you just need to know the risks, I guess. You need to go into it with an open mind would be my advice on that one. I'm just going to pop over then to the tweet deck, see if we can see anything happening ahead of these press conferences. Still just got news from Palace at the moment. This sounds a bit ominous. A Man City journalist says all set for a quiet one. Can you imagine now if we get some shocking news ahead of a double game week? Don't blame me, I've basically just jinxed that now, haven't I? Sorry, guys. Yeah, don't know why I said that, because it's just going to happen now, isn't it? By the way, guys, you guys did an amazing job last week getting me to 16k subs. I'm trying to get to 20k subs by the end of the season, which is about 250 new subs a week. So if I can get to 16,250 today, then I would be on track. So anything that you can do to help me on my way would be really appreciated. So I'm just going to pop that up for a second then, just to remind you that if you don't subscribe already, please do. There's about 117 of you in at the moment, so hopefully there's someone in here that maybe doesn't subscribe already that is going to hit that subscribe button now. It just really helps me to grow the channel, do more content for you guys, spend more time on doing content, and hopefully push on for an even better season on content next time round. Let's jump back into the questions then, as promised. Let's keep on track. Iron Man says, what do you reckon to Mahrez? Could get 90 minutes. I hope that he's going to get 180 minutes across the 2 fixtures. It probably won't happen, but, you know, only Haaland can match him for goal involvement since the restart. So for me, I think that's really important when you're thinking about, you know, potentially getting Mahrez in. Mike says, with 6 free transfers from now to 28, do we use them for good players on doubles, or do we go from 5 to 11 players in blank game week 28? Seems like an extra Matoma game via an extra Tarkowski or Bailey game is more value. Yeah, I mean, everyone is going to struggle to navigate these blanks and doubles. It's not going to be easy. That's what the chips are there for. I think it's going to be quite important to go into double game week 25 with some flexibility in your plans, because once game week 25 is out of the way, we know what 28 looks like, and we'll possibly get some more doubles confirmed beyond there. So that's kind of the challenge that we're working with at the moment on that one. Submarine Man says, is there any better triple captain opportunities than this week? Well, this is something that we've got to bear in mind. I mean, as I said, I know it's tricky fixtures for Haaland. We don't know what to expect from the Arsenal fixture, but he is the best fantasy asset that we've ever had. The algorithm's putting him at a projection of 13.1. In game week 25, which is a confirmed double, Salah's at 14.1, Nketiah 13, Odegaard 12.5, and Arsenal's fixtures are Everton at home and Leicester away, which looks good on paper. So there is merit to waiting. We also need to factor in, though, that by game week 25, we have got Europa League coming back for Arsenal in the midweeks. The midweek after that, but I don't think that'll be a huge deal because the Premier League is everything for Arsenal this season. So you need to go with your gut of what you fancy. Do you prefer Arsenal's double in game week 25 to this current double? Do you think Odegaard or Saka is a better captain contender than Haaland or Nketiah for that matter, but probably not your traditional asset there for triple captain? John Dre has... Sorry, I've lost my place in the chat again, guys. Has asked I will learn to say his name eventually, won't I? Nonto to Nketiah for a -4, or Andreas to Odegaard for a -8. I think Nonto to Nketiah for a -4 is more sensible, and I'm guessing that if Andreas to Odegaard is a -8, it's going to kind of give you a strong 8 and give you a terrible benching decision this week. So I think that you do have to factor that into your decision making as well. So it's something to bear in mind there. Harvey has asked, do you think Patterson could be back for 25? We saw a picture somewhere of him back out on the grass. I can't remember who posted it now. I wonder if Ben Dinnery's retweeted it or anything. No, don't think he has. But I've definitely seen, probably from one of the many Patterson owners, that he was back in training. Whether that be full training or just back out on the grass, I don't know. But it does bode well for him potentially being back for game week 25. So something to keep an eye out on. Top and Time says, which Wolves players would you recommend? I mean, it's the defence that's really going to be attractive. You know, if we look over the next, let's do next 5 because we don't know what happens beyond that. But you've got Jose Sar's top. Mateus is the attacker of choice. The algorithm prefers Semedo over Kilman, but they're kind of the names in the frame. But, you know, it's not terribly exciting given Wolves' form. I mean, you're probably not going to use a transfer on a goalkeeper to bring Sarr in either. Gerald says hello. Achiha afternoon. What is the press conference schedule? So I think Scout normally post it, but there's lots coming up at 1:30. Don't know if we've got anything back through. Bits from Wolves, Hwang out for 4 to 5 weeks, Neto ready to help. So that could be interesting if Neto's back, but I think it could take a while. An unnamed player touch and go. Why do they do this? What is the point of having a press conference and then not even say that someone's injured, but not who? I don't know, guys. I'm going to keep this open now, though. Now it's 1:30. British Gamer said, did you take a triple captain punt on Rashford? No, I used mine on Haaland in double game week 20, which was less prolific than Rashford, but I think I only lost out on 12 points. Richard said Saka or Odegaard. I prefer Odegaard. I know Saka's on pens, but I just think that Odegaard's, a bit more explosive. Serg says start Estupinan or... My pronunciation is awful today. I don't feel like I can speak. Estupinan or Shaw, I'd start with the Brighton defender. I think Brighton have got a better clean sheet potential than Manchester United this week. Damien says, who would you start, Kepa or Edison? You've got to start Edison because he's got a double game week. Surely. Is it worth a -4 to do Martinelli to Odegaard? Yeah, I would say so. Argore's rhythm. Wilson and Martinelli out. Odegaard and then Nketiah in. I think the triple up on Arsenal is really important, so I think you could probably get away with that one, especially because Wilson blanks. Right, news from United that Anthony Martial and the player Anthony Martial and McTominay not expected to be fit for Barcelona away, so that just shows you how they're struggling. Jamie's helping me with my pronunciation. Estupiñán. I'll get there. I'm still struggling with Badia Shield, but we'll get there. Make it up as I go along. Ed says, is it worth a -4 to go Martinelli to Saka and Marshall to Nonto and play Mitrovic instead of Nonto and put him on my bench? No, I think I'd just do Martinelli to Saka if you don't need the funds. I'm guessing you do, though. Oh, Ten Hag's praising Garnacho. Interesting. Strokes missing out for Leeds because of concussion protocols. Jamie's moving Bruno on because we know about the Leeds new manager bounce. Considering benching Rashford. You can't do that, can you? Andy says, would you do Martinelli to Saka for the hit? Already got Odegaard. Yeah, do that one. I think that's an easy one. Definitely. Pep's late for his press conference. Standard. Yo, Holly, Saka and Mahrez or Martinelli and KDB? Saka and Mahrez, surely. But if you're going to have to take a -8 to do it from Martinelli and KDB, then that's different. It depends if that's free transfers or not. I think we're probably going to see Garnacho again, aren't we? Interesting. Nayan says start Callum Wilson or Mitrovic. That's a tricky one. Let me have a look. What does the algorithm say? So Wilson is 5.6 projected points. Mitrovic 5.6. That's not helpful at all, is it? I think probably Wilson, because Nottingham Forest defence is performing better than Bournemouth's defence right now. Wilson's got a bit of form, Mitrovic hasn't. But yeah, not an easy one, that one. You need to get Haaland and Kane in your front line though, instead of having two cheapies. Gerald says, thinking of a -8, but is it worth it? Reports Pep has fallen out with some of the players. Is that why he's late for his presser? Could that be? Don't know. I'm not that keen on taking hits for the City players. Ben has said any Everton players worth punting in, maybe Gray. I mean, we've spoken about Tarkowski, haven't we? But other than that, it's a bit slim pickings. Probably Gray's your best bet, but, you know, not particularly exciting when you think of the midfielders that we have got delivering at the moment. Sorry, guys, I know I've kind of swapped screens quite a lot there. Hopefully you're managing to keep up with what's going on with me. Sunil has asked a question as well. Is it worth bringing in Salah or Darwin for their double in 25? I think with it being a couple of game weeks away, you can just monitor that for now. I don't think it's a massive rush to get them. Jarrell said, Arsenal away is definitely a difficult game, while Villa has the ability to cause an upset too. Yeah, Man City's fixtures aren't that great for this week, really. Javel, can you stop spamming the chat, please? Check out that link I gave you, if you're struggling on which... I don't know if I've still got it. On which players to start and which to not start this week. Matt has asked, Martinelli and Shaw to Odegaard and Kanji for free. Yeah, I think I'd do that. I would start Estepinian over Shaw. Alexa says, which Man City defender? I like Ake. Oh, Pep is in. This is quite good as well from Arteta. Jesus is doing really well. And has already been outside, but is some way off a return. So I think Nketiah will be fine for both of the doubles. Alex has asked which Man City defender. I mean, in terms of the defenders, the algorithm likes Ake, but Akanji isn't far behind. It's a bit of a coin toss between those two. This is Pep's first presser since, obviously, the news of the week. We've already been condemned. No wonder he was late. I do worry a little bit for City, though, with these charges that are going on, how it's going to affect their form. Obviously, dropping those points against Spurs when Everton had beaten Arsenal. Could that be a factor? That does put me off the triple captain a little bit this week. 25 cent has just asked Haaland triple captain. Pep could be off, you know, if these charges come. And Haaland, you never know. Polo Goose is in from Malta. Good luck to everyone. WB says KDB or Mahrez. I think I would just go Mahrez. Alex has said Ake or Lewis. I don't like the punt on Lewis, but if it affords you something else important, then you can maybe get away with it. Marcus says, thoughts on De Bruyne and Lewis in for Fernandes and Cancelo? If it's a free, yes. If it's a hit, big hit, then maybe not. Alif says, what do you think of Fernandes to Mahrez? Only have one free transfer. Yeah, it sounds okay. It's 50-50, that one. I've talked about Fernandes to KDB, haven't I? Valdut says Mahrez and Kane or Mitrovic and KDB. Mahrez and Kane, easy. I forgot. I know all this news is coming in from Chelsea about Aubameyang. I forgot he was even in FPL. Agaba, any thoughts on Havertz? I mean, it's going to take a while for Potter to get all his new signings in place. We don't know who's in favour, who isn't. Vlad likes Haaland triple captain because Villa defence is weak. I don't think it's that weak, but still we know what to expect from Haaland. Achia says, planning for game week 25, would you start Mahrez or Darwin? I think if you own Darwin by double game week 25, you'd have to start him. Fofana and Zakira have been back in training for Chelsea. Raheem has had a setback. I don't think anyone was looking at Sterling particularly. Interesting. Damien says, would you bring Darwin for Tony this week as a free transfer? Don't think so. Information's everything. Ed is in, as is Harvey. Hello. Trossard could take minutes off any of the Arsenal front three, not just Martinelli. That's an interesting one. João Felix is back for Chelsea. Kovacic, even though he's been back in training, isn't available. Sorry, I've just knocked my mic there, guys. Mike says, could be a fairly dull game week. We've all got 6 to 8 doublers, then Trippier, Rashford leaving 3 spots to differentiate. Yeah, it does feel that way. Yeah, it's a bit steady, this press conference, particularly the City one, just because of the landscape. Francis, I'm going to take an 8-point hit. I need 2 City and 1 Arsenal. I wouldn't take loads of hits for City players. I think it's fine for Arsenal, but not necessary for City. FPL Penguin says, deduct City points and give us our titles too. Do we actually think it can happen? I feel like it's something that I don't know enough about to really get to grips with it all. It should be interesting and nonetheless, isn't it? Top and Time says Saka or De Bruyne in. You've got to prioritise Arsenal assets. Saka in for me would be the one that I would go with. This is just Guardiola just moaning. That's all I'm seeing at the moment. Villy says, would you play Shaw, Andreas or Nonto? I think I'd play Andreas. Mohamed, start Andreas or Matoma. Fulham haven't scored in their last 3 games, so I'd say Matoma on current form. Calvert-Lewin, touch and go for the derby. Something to keep an eye on. FPL Penguin, I see Villa getting something v City. Pep's lost the dressing room. Has this just passed me by? There's some rumblings of Pep and City. Nayan says start Diop or Kilman. Both home games. Let's have a look at the clean sheet odds from FPL Salah. Where is he? There he is. Anytime scorers. So, Fulham 40% chance of a clean sheet. Wolves 31%. So, potentially Diop. Gary says, Darwin is the FPL blind donkey. Even he doesn't know where he's going. Oh, that's a funny one. I like that one. De Zerbi is almost in. Mick says Tarkowski or Robertson for the double in 25. I mean, I think I prefer Tarkowski if I'm honest. I think that would be the way I'd go. Robertson's just so expensive. Doesn't help. Mystical, when should I triple captain? You could do it this week. You could do it in 25. You could wait for another opportunity. If you've still got all your other chips though, I think you just need to weigh up. Do you do it now on Haaland or in 25 on a Arsenal midfielder? Keep the questions coming, guys. I've nearly got to the end of the list. Is it that I've just been quicker today or have you guys been slower? There's a lot of you in though. There's 173 of you in, 79 likes. We're not doing too bad. Let's get that, hit that like button if you haven't already. Let's get that up to 100. It'll be good to do that. And as I said, trying to get to 17k subs by the end of the month. So if you can get me to 16,250 today, that would be grand. So if you're in, you're watching, you're enjoying it, you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button, help me out. I want to see it moving up. Yeah, nothing more. Oh, Neto is the new Bournemouth captain. That's nice to hear. Oh, Andrew is in with the super thanks. Thank you, Andrew. If you've got any questions, then do drop them in the chat and I'll make sure that I get them answered for you. Cheers for supporting the channel though. I'm really, you know, it's my main focus at the minute is, you know, improving the content, improving the look of things, growing the channel. So, you know, anything you can do to help me on that journey, Andrew, is great. I really do appreciate that. HW said, who to get for Martinelli? I've got 0.4 in the bank. If you don't own Odegaard, get Odegaard. I think triple Arsenal is key. So if you are going to sell Martinelli, then you need to stay on triple Arsenal. Mick O'Connell says White and Bruno for Saka and Tarkowski for a -4. I wouldn't sell White this week, unless that's your only route to Saka. It could pay off. Sounds okay. Does sound okay. Rohit says -8 to bring in Odegaard and Nketiah and De Bruyne for Tony, Martinelli and Bruno. That is a big hit. Can you keep... I mean, I'd do Martinelli to Odegaard. I don't think I'd take a hit for Bruno to De Bruyne and Tony to Nketiah. If you've not got 3 Arsenal players, maybe Tony to Nketiah is the way to go and keep Bruno and don't get De Bruyne. Philanderer says Andreas to Saka or Odegaard. Have Martinelli and Nketiah. I prefer Odegaard, but it is a bit of personal choice. There's not a lot in it. Achia says you sold all of our dollars. Oh, thank you. Lindsay, triple Arsenal. Well, I've lost my place now. Triple Arsenal attack or triple Man City? Triple Arsenal's got to be the priority. 5 fixtures in the next 3. Locker says I have Ake and Cancelo. Only 1 transfer already. Triple on Arsenal. White, Martinelli and Nketiah. Should I take a -4 Cancelo to Kilman? Only if you need to start Kilman this week, because you're going to probably have to bench someone with a good fixture. Martinelli to Saka or Almiron to Mahrez? I think I'd do one of the others. Martinelli to Saka or the other one into Mahrez. DeAndre, is Martinelli to Odegaard worth -8? I think so, just. Chris, should I play Reece James or Shaw in my final defence spot? I'd play Reece James. If anyone is waiting for some specific news from these press conferences, just let me know. But hopefully you can see it all filtering on the screen clear enough for you to see. Marco Silva now. I don't know if anyone's particularly got a lot of Fulham players or West Ham players for that matter. Oh, thanks for the kind words, everyone, on the content, guys. Lindsay says Mahrez or Odegaard. Odegaard. Guinness Harvey, worried Ben White will be benched. Should I sell on who? I think I'd just keep Ben White. I think he is a rotation risk, but, you know, sometimes he gets benched after 60 minutes and then they concede and you get this clean sheet point. So it can work in your favour for defenders. So I think a few early subs for a defender is not a massive deal. Nyan says I've got Odegaard, Saka and White. Do I need to go through another -4 to get Gabriel? Nah, just risk it. Risk it. Kello, should I sell Bruno Fernandes for Odegaard? Oh. I mean, you need 3 Arsenal this week. That's my thoughts. So do you sell? Is there another route to Odegaard? But if not, it's tempting. Charlie has asked, should I put Haaland captain? And should I put Saliba, Odegaard or Saka vice captain? I would put Haaland captain, Odegaard vice. Saka vice is also fine, no. Yeah, there's not a lot coming through on these presses. Sean has asked, would you play Cucurella over Shaw? Yes. Andrej says, Almiron, Tony and Martinelli out for Odegaard and Nketiah and Grealish. Well, if you've already done it, my thoughts doesn't matter, but, you know, those sound like okay moves. Arunda says, do I keep Martinelli for this game week or not? I mean, I would easily move Martinelli to Odegaard or Saka, even for a -4. That's my thoughts on it. We've made 100 likes, guys. Thank you. Thank you for that, Keisha. Guardiola still hasn't said anything on any player availability. Gerrard likes Foden as a differential. I don't think he'll start. Could he start? Grealish owners aren't going to want to hear that, though. Gary, I would start Almiron this week. If you've still got him. But why have you still got him? Soham says Salah to KDB for free. Good option. Yeah, I think that's okay. Right now. Lindsay, Bruno to Mahrez and Andreas to Odegaard for a -4 to triple up a Man City and Arsenal. If it's your only route to Odegaard, then I think it's okay. Adnan, should I play Thiago Silva or Andreas? I would... Oh, that's tough. I think I'd play Thiago Silva, you know, on current form. So Salah to KDB for free, worth it? Yeah. But I prefer Mahrez as well. Lawland Dean, should I sell Salah or Bruno to get Saka? Now that is tough. Also, I line up a -4 to sell Stones for an Everton defender. I wouldn't do that this week with the Merseyside derby. Wouldn't do that one. You've got to... I think sometimes you can just be a little bit too trigger happy with the hits at time. Mosh says that my team is really well set. Thinking getting Tarkowski early, what do you think? The hype for Tarkowski, it's the Merseyside derby away. It's not the week to buy. Especially not for a hit. Jandre, start Shaw or move to James for -4 and start James. I'd just start Shaw. Charlie, a sub. Thank you very much, Charlie. Good man. We're getting there now. We're nearly at 16,250. Dan says, triple captain Haaland in 23 or Saka in 25. I think I'd go... I don't mind 25 now, you know. Seeing how miserable Pep is in this press conference makes me less enticed by triple captain Haaland. And Mike has asked -4 for Almiron and Martinelli to Odegaard and Mahrez. Yeah, I'd make that move, not the -8. I think I'd prefer Mahrez. Sean says start Wilson or Mitrovic. Just had this one, we decided Wilson. Andrew, play Matoma or Mitrovic. Nathan said, should I transfer out Matoma? No, not at the moment. Bavesh, Shaw v Cucurella on bench or sell with an 8-point hit. Just start Cucurella. Shaz says thoughts on Trossard as a differential. You cannot waste an Arsenal slot on Trossard. It's been a bit steady in this press conference today. I don't know what you guys think. Pep's told us absolutely nothing about his players. Rohit said, what is your points and rank? Where are we? I'm on 1,336 points, 500k. It's been a rise. I had an awful game week one. I was at 5.7 million after the first game week. Didn't really get myself into the top 1 million until after the restart. And then I've had a big jump in recent weeks. I've just had the one red arrow since the restart. So it's going okay. I've had better seasons, as you can see. That's on your screen now. I need to get another top 100k finish. 2 top 10k finishes, so it can be done. I don't even know if we're going to get anything proper from Guardiola today, other than his mains. Probably be embargoed by the time we get there. Nelson says start Shaw or Perisic. I think I'd start Perisic. Tempted by Arsenal captaincy this week? No, not really. Don't think so. Sunil, worth upgrading Bueno to someone more nailed for the double. Let's just see what happens in the next couple of game weeks before we make a decision on that one. Giandre, expected points difference between Nketiah and Odegaard from 23 to 25. I think Nketiah is higher. Have a look. Yeah, Nketiah is 28.6, Odegaard 27.6. Remember, if you want access to any of these tools where it's all fully customisable, link in the description will get 30% off Fantasy Football Hub membership on the annual memberships for the season. Ahmed has said 1 for bench. Keane? Is it Kane or Bruno? Well, you've got to start Kane. It's all been embargoed, Pep's press conference. What a waste of time. Soyeg bench Shaw. Chris has said, what's your thoughts, Holly? Alvaro Zinchenko or Nathan Ake for a -4? Zinchenko, but I'd prefer Gabriel. Ethan says, who's more important, Odegaard or Nketiah? Odegaard all day long. Right, I think I'm going to make my transfers, guys, because I don't think we're going to get any more news through today. Do I make my transfers now? Yeah, lock it in. Got a busy night tonight. Got to take my daughter to a birthday party. So, let's get on with it. Need to concentrate then. So, Martinelli is going for Odegaard. Almiron is gone as well, finally, for Mahrez. Sorry, I have to concentrate on this, else I'll make the wrong moves. Right, out Martinelli, in Odegaard, out Almiron, in Mahrez. Confirmed transfers. We're done. I'm locked in. Feel like I need to make my team look pretty on the pitch, guys. Right, captain is on Haaland, vice captain is on Odegaard. I'm benching Botman. I think I will just put Andreas first sub. Do I? Headaches. I mean, it probably doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. I think I do want Andreas first sub. Yeah, let's have Andreas first sub. Probably doesn't matter. But I think that is going to be me locked. I always make my transfers on a Friday afternoon. Let's get me for 16,250 there, guys. I've done the transfers on stream for you. So if you haven't subscribed and you're watching, I think there was about 200 of you in last time I looked. Hit that subscribe button. And and get me over 250. Next week we'll be going for 16,500, which will be another big milestone. So really do, you know, appreciate everyone that is supporting the channel, because it is really helping me in terms of growing the channel, hoping to do more and more content. Next on my list is to get a new camera, which should hopefully improve things as well. Hopefully at the end of this month. But we're getting there now. The team is locked in. Thank you guys, we've made it. So the team is locked in now. You can see it on screen, but I hope that you found the stream useful today. Lots of questions, lots of news from the presses as well. So thanks so much. If you are new around here, thanks for joining me. And I'll be back again, same time next week with another stream. So bye for now. Good luck.